Hey, what's up, Sussex Squad? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is William waiting for a personality, Katie, even Tatler Magazine is saying that you guys are going to be the Trojan horse, which is, in my opinion, the end of the monarchy. Oh, hell, Prince Voldemort. But y'all, let's talk about the way the palace keeps trying to attack, and it is just not sticking to Meghan and Harry. Do you know the courtier? You know what I now realize, right? One of the reasons that Meghan marriage to Harry didn't work out, in my opinion, was, besides the race, was the fact that she wasn't English. But the odd thing is, one of the reasons the marriage actually stayed together and held together was the fact that she was not English. They did so many shady, insulting things to Meghan, but thankfully, because Meghan's not from that culture, she didn't notice. And it didn't matter. And this is why they're really mad. Y'all, do you know they literally said they played a prank on her at her wedding by putting some type of, I'll tell you all about that, right? Also, can we talk about Prince Charles and Andrew? Listen, a lot of people are up in arms about what happened between Charles and Andrew, and the fact that Andrew gets to stay in the royal lounge. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan, even though they paid for everything, was banished. Because there's the thing. First, they said you got to pay for Frogmore Cottage and the renovations. They thought that they would never get the money up. The only problem is Meghan Ben had money, and she was like, all right, small thing to a giant, and she, sorry, that was my takeout. But seriously, Meghan was like, ain't no thing. It's a small thing to a giant. What you want, what you want, what you want. Wrote that check out. You know they were glowering because they usually kept Harry. Harry seems like, what Bacon's house there in London? HSBC. It seemed like the way they had him with holes in the shoes, living in a hovel. It honestly seems like his checking account was probably always overdrawn, and he always had to be like, Papa, may I have some more money for Grey Poupon, right? Anyway, Meghan wrote that check out. They never expected that to happen. So what actually came next? I'll tell you. Charles put them out, as you guys know, and all the money that they sank in there, which is like $3 or $4 million, it was just all wasted. We don't know if the palace actually gave them the money back, but the palace would have announced that they had gotten the money back, that they had given the money back to try to act like they were doing charity, okay? Here's the thing. People are like, how was Andrew allowed to stay in the royal residence? I have a theory. Let me know if you're sick. I think that Andrew was always slated to stay. Now, don't get me wrong, right? He wanted Andrew out of there, but I don't think they had fair. I don't think that they actually thought Andrew would leave, because at the end of the day, they know Andrew's spoiled. They know Andrew is going nowhere. So get this. Here's what I actually think happened. I think that they were like, yo, we need to kick Harry and Meghan out of Frogmore Cottage. But if we do that, the British people are rightly going to say, what? Que pasa? You, like, the nuns get to stay there, but we have to leave, right? So what did they do? At the same time, they said, neither of you guys are working royals, this and that. Andrew's disgraced. Meghan and Harry disgraced too, but for different reasons. You know how they love to say that, right? And they were kicking them both out at the same time. So that way the public, if they just kicked Harry out, can you imagine how bad that would have looked with the PR? Now, I do think when they did that, they were like, listen, if Andrew leaves, that's even better. Because Charles can't stand Andrew, because this is rumors. Who knows? But they said the reason they can't stand it is because Diana hated Charles so much, as she should have, that she was trying to, and the Queen was so mad at Charles because of the Camilla thing, she was trying to make sure that William would be the next to take the line and throne, and Andrew would be his regent until he was 18 years old. Now, it's a dumb plan. Some people said it couldn't happen constitutionally, but as we see, the monarchy makes their own rules with constitutional stuff. There are no rules except for what they want to do. Andrew was in his mom's ear. He was trying to upset Charles. Charles found out about it. It's what the streets were saying. And this is his long-standing beef with Andrew. So he was like, great, if I can get him out of here, no problem. I would love to do that. But they never expected Andrew to leave. That's why after they took the cottage back from Harry and Meghan, they let Andrew be like, oh, come on, please, kiss Charles' butt, kiss the rings, pet fealty. And Charles was like, fine, you can stay. But did you guys actually see this? Because now when I see royals, the way they are so dumb and obvious in the public, it makes me think in private it's the same thing. Because think about it, you guys, what happened? Harry and Meghan were exiled. Harry still can't even get a room to stay in Kensington Palace, even if he wanted to. He has to ask in advance reservations and they're still saying no, right? Andrew is right where he always was. His security was never cut off. His allowance was never cut off. Nothing was cut off. Now, I don't know for certain because it's my opinion, but if I was a betting woman, I would say that the Andrew thing was a red herring. He was never expected to be kicked out, right? And it was just about making it look like to the PR that they're kicking out all the non-working royals. But look, Andrew got to stay. I don't know. I think it was all a farce. I think they never planned on kicking Andrew out. But if Andrew left, they wouldn't be mad. So now we have it. The Black woman that was a part of the royal family is out, along with the other children that share the blood, because I don't care what anybody says. If Meghan had just been a divorcee that wasn't mixed, a divorcee, this, that, and an actress, they wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't have done that. They would have found a way. In my mind, this is just like when the Queen Elizabeth, do you guys remember? Yes, the Queen Mother. She was a beast too. Harry's beloved grandma. Remember when she literally wrote that some of her cousins that had mental issues, they were mentally disabled, she put them in some like little asylum that they didn't even get treated that well, and then wrote in all the history books that they no longer were alive. For you guys to think that they would not care that Meghan's blood was in the royal family, I find that hard to believe, because they wouldn't even claim mentally disabled people in their family. And the royal family, in my opinion, is a bastion of colonialism. It does not work if other races think that they have a right to be up there, because in their minds, they're like, what's next? If they think that they can have these rights, what's next? You know, what's next is them telling you get that HE double hockey sticks out of their country. Anyway, y'all, let's get into how they literally tried to play Meghan. And again, Meghan didn't understand what was going on. So at the end of the day, it was ineffective. But this is why the greatest curse was she wasn't from that culture. But I think that the gift was she wasn't from that culture. I think if she was, and she actually understood a lot of the shade and even understood it, it actually hit her in her soul like they meant it to, who knows if that marriage would have ever happened. But again, thank God, because it was a different culture, she didn't recognize the shade. Or even if she did, she was like, that's dumb. Why would I care? The courtiers tried to force comparisons between Meghan Markle and Wallis Simpson. First of all, in America, we look at Wallis Simpson as a success story until we realize that she was like the rest of the royal family. Let's just say that she loved her German blood. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Let's just say she loved her German blood a little bit too much. She was on the wrong side of the war. Anyway, this is what they tried to do. And second of all, how's the shade to compare me to Wallis Simpson? I mean, I understand besides like the personal failings, but apparently all the Windsors, look at Philip. Philip came from a big family that supported high. I don't want to get demonetized, but I'm just saying, eugenics, Philip's family was about it. Anyway, right? They said millions of royal fans watched as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle said "I do" during their fairy tale wedding at St. George's Chapel in 2018. There was so much to catch the eye, including the Duchess of Sussex minimalist silk Givenchy wedding gown. I'm still convinced. Who was it? Sarah Burton or whoever, the woman that designs all of Kate's house coats that make her look a mess, even though it cost $1 billion. She was the head designer, Alexander McQueen. Meghan tapped her. When you saw that wedding dress, it was, listen, just hear me out. Let's be honest. We all love Meghan. She looked gorgeous on her wedding day. But that wedding dress was ill-fitting. And the hem was not even finished. When she walked down the aisle, the hem was folded under. It was not finished. I think Sarah Burton tried to sabotage them. Just like, and again, it didn't make a difference because Meghan's so beautiful and she was so happy, right? It didn't make a difference. But just like Angela Kelly, Meghan wanted a tiara with an emerald in the middle to match everything else. And they gave her a tiara that they thought didn't match. Again, Meghan looked beautiful, but that does not discount people from trying. That's my theory. Anyway, let me know if you think it's right. They said, but there was something else too that was worthy of attention. The Rolls Royce chosen to take the bride to the ceremony. And this is, okay, let me get into this. Magnificent in its own right, the maroon-colored Phantom Ford transporting Meghan and her mother, Doria Ragland, from the Cliveden House Hotel to St. George's Chapel had a rather unique history. As 46 years earlier, it had been used to convey another American divorcee, the Duchess of Windsor, to the funeral of her husband, the Duke, in 1972. Was there anything significant in the choice? The Duchess of Windsor, a figure at the very heart of the abdication crisis, can hardly have been a welcoming comparison. This is your shade. I mean, it was ignorant, but the fact that Meghan is not an art historian in America, it's like, okay, and I know I know in the courtiers and like the way they live in history books and all this other stuff, I get it, but it's like their minds haven't even wrapped around that history is being told in a new way. No one from 2000 and 2000 on is going back to like libraries. It is all online. The thing that they don't realize is this media game that they keep playing with the Sussexes, they keep losing over and over and over again because they will not realize that the old way that worked and the old way that they had power no longer works. Anyway, they said, the Daily Mail Sebastian Shakespeare asks if it might be a joke and regrettably bad taste, and why might courtiers or aides have wished to play such a joke? The answer might lie in the widely reported tensions before the wedding itself, with Harry and Meghan described as behaving like teenagers, and Valentine Lowe's book Courtiers, The Hidden Power. So let me get this straight. Harry and Meghan were behaving like teenagers in love. Harry was protecting his bride. Meghan was just in her love bubble, so she just wanted it to work out, right? And y'all are literally trying to throw shade, but I think the real thing is, y'all, the real thing is you guys literally played yourselves. What, like, again, there's nothing funnier when people try to be ignorant to people and it just goes over the head. It lands flat. Oh, baby, Meghan was headed to a funeral that day. Good job. But let it not be known, it was a funeral for all her haters. May they rest in peace, because the British royal family has not been in peace. They are in shambles. Charles and Camilla, they're on their way out of there. William and Kate, I pray to God, are the future of the monarchy, because baby, I can't wait for the day, yes, that Kate reaps what she sows, which will be a nice settlement and a house somewhere in the Berkshires, while William and the woman he really wanted to be with, even though, let's be real, what woman is really having William? And that's the real deal. Kate was the only one that would put up with his BS, because somebody with a family name and somebody who's cushy would be like, you're out of your mind. But Meghan was headed to a funeral for all her haters. May they rest in peace. The courtiers didn't even know that they were driving her to their own funeral. Y'all listen, there's a lot going on in royal news this week. I'm gonna try to get a royal video every day. If you're watching this, check me out on the tube, TisaTellss, TisaTellss, and let me know respectfully if you agree with me or not. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.